And in Germany too, we have a lot of people who say there is no corona, or corona is not as dangerous. What do you think when you hear opinions like this? They're saying, yeah, it's just like a flu, you know, people don't die because of corona. What do you think when you see people, as you said, dying on the street, and people say, no, there is no corona, no virus? A little bit creepy.
I really don't know how to respond to them, because they must then come to India or just look at the visuals here. It is painful, as in I don't understand how people can be so insensitive to what's happening around them.
First of all, thank you so much for taking time for us. And first of all, thank you for the things you do in India right now. I think it's a job that not everybody would be able to do it. So thank you before we start. And my first question is, how would you describe the situation in India right now? I mean, people in Germany, all over the world, we read newspapers, we watch TV shows, we see everything. But how is the situation in India right now?
So thank you for inviting me. And the situation is extremely grim. It is an absolutely unprecedented crisis. And I have certainly not seen this in my lifetime. What I hear, we've not witnessed anything of this kind. People are literally dying on the streets. The scarcity of people not being able to find ambulances. And people don't find hospital beds. And the biggest scarcity is of oxygen, which is leading to deaths, people dying on the streets, people are dying in the hospital lobbies waiting for admission. So it is a tragic situation that we're going through. And let me just add that this is the story of Delhi. I live in Delhi, which is the capital of this country. You can just imagine how it would be in towns outside Delhi and in rural areas. So a devastating moment for this country.
Are there some difference between Delhi, for example, and other small cities or in the country?
Yeah, so India has very differential development indicators. And in Delhi, pretty much given that it is the state capital, the capital of the country, we have the best development indicators. So the best of the hospitals, the best of the health infrastructures in Delhi. So I was just trying to make that point that in a place like Delhi, which has the best infrastructure in this country, the entire infrastructure of health has collapsed. So just imagine places where we do not even have hospitals, we do not have enough doctors, nurses. It is really a grim situation.
Yeah. So it's not exaggerated, because on German media they always speak about the Corona hell in India. It's not exaggerated. It's real.
It is. But you know what I would say, it is. One needs to relook at it. It's not Corona hell. Corona is killing only half the people. Our poor infrastructure, our poor health systems is leading to a significant amount of deaths and losses of life. So that's what is happening. And just to say that it is such a stretched system that even in death, there's waiting now. So people dying when they're being cremated, people have to wait for hours. The loved ones are not even being able to say goodbye to their loved ones because they can't get a spot to cremate their loved ones for several hours. So it is as I said, a really huge humanitarian crisis.
Yeah. And Oxfam is not only fighting against Corona, you are fighting against poverty all over the world. How does the Corona crisis influence your work in India or worldwide?
So So in terms of our work, you're absolutely right. We are immediately responding to the humanitarian crisis that I talked of. And we've started working with particularly government hospitals in providing them masks, safety equipment. Very soon in the next couple of days, in fact, day before, our first delivery of oxygen cylinders will also happen in Delhi, but then we're trying to take it outside. So one response is the humanitarian response, which is right away we are working on. But the second big one is also around the advocacy we do, because as I was saying, that this is not the virus which is creating havoc. It certainly is a dangerous and a deadly virus, but there are other factors also. For instance, that why don't we have enough vaccines even now for everybody? So that's the second part of, say, Oxfam's work, which is around advocacy, advocating for ensuring, for instance, in this case, free vaccination for all. And that's been a big story for us in the last few days. Just look at the paradox that India is the pharmacy to the world. Most of the vaccines are done in India. They're manufactured in India. But at the moment, we have not been able to reach even 10% of Indian population. And there's a huge scarcity of now vaccines in India. Whereas the rich countries like US has procured enough vaccines to give the vaccination, the full dose, the 2 shots, twice to their entire population. Yeah. Canada has procured enough vaccines to do it 5 times for their population. And most of the developing poor countries, whether it's in Africa or Asia, have not really even started their vaccination drive. So this is almost, I was reading a figure that 80% of the vaccines are now with the 17% of global population in the rich countries. So just working on this, how to make this a free vaccine for all, get out of the intellectual property regime. So that's the second big work we do. And certainly the third thing in terms of fighting poverty, in India, now that the virus has hit us so hard, we are going into lockdown. And once we go into lockdown, most of the Indian people who work in the informal sector, they essentially survive on daily wages. So in just a maximum of weeks' time, their savings get depleted and they end up sleeping hungry. So that's, say, the third piece that we start working on providing food. But in the longer run, really looking at systemic causes of why poverty exists.
My next question sounds a little bit crazy, but I'm really interested in your answer. We talked about this vaccination thing, about this vaccination subject. Do people in India wait for the vaccination? Because in Germany right now, we've got the problem that a lot of people say, I don't want to get vaccinated. I'm afraid of, I don't know. Are people in India talking the same? Are there some,
No, sure. So even in India, there is a lot of vaccine hesitancy. So a lot of people are hesitant. But what I would say is that it is still not a significant majority. Sure, there are those no-sayers, but there are many who want to get vaccinated. And anyways, the government of India is clear that everybody needs to get vaccinated. Doctors are absolutely clear that that's the only way we can fight and defeat Corona. But the problem is that you don't have enough vaccines for the population.
And in Germany too, we have a lot of people who say there is no Corona, or Corona is not as dangerous. What do you think when you hear opinions like this? They're saying, yeah, it's just like a flu, people don't die because of Corona. What do you think when you see people, as you said, dying on the street, and people say, no, there is no Corona, no virus? A little bit creepy.
I really don't know how to respond to them because they must then come to India or just look at the visuals here. It is painful, as in I don't understand how people can be so insensitive to what's happening around them. So, I believe that we live in a global community now, and what's happening in India is really not very far. In terms of kilometers, it might be far off, but the virus knows how to travel very, very quickly. So it will go to Germany. It has traveled around, we have seen in the last 1 year. And when you're seeing these deaths happen, this is, I really can't engage with people who would not want to even engage with the science of it. So it is a very, very serious and a grave epidemic. It is a pandemic that we are seeing of this proportion after 100 years. Probably people are saying that this is even bigger because of now the integrated nature of the world. So we need to acknowledge it and try and defeat it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, then I've got 2 more questions. Let's say someone sees this interview and says, I want to help. What can we do from Germany? There's the possibility to donate, or are there some possibilities for us to help from Germany?
So, the crisis is so grim that I would say that the first kind of support is actually if you could provide medical equipment. And I'm told Germany does make even oxygen plants which can be sent to India. So that would be the first one. So oxygen plant is something I do not know about its manufacturing, but there are these now small equipments called oxygen concentrators, which are fairly effective for an individual. So just sending as many as can be sent. So the first one is the medical equipment. And given the levels of deprivation we have in this country, even basic thermometers are something which are not there. So a whole range of medical equipment, the steroids which are needed during COVID. This is, say, the first phase. But very quickly, in say a couple of weeks, few weeks, hopefully we'll get our act together in terms of ensuring that the production starts happening here. And then I think resources would be very, very helpful. Financial support would be very helpful to be able to get the majority of people the oxygen that's needed, the hospital bed that's needed, to buy the medicines. And the third, as I was saying, what would also be very critical, and Oxfam has already started on all these fronts, is to start providing food to the people who are losing their livelihoods. So that's the third bit, because a lot of people in the wake of this huge health emergency will tend to forget what's happening to many others. And it would be critical that we are able to provide them basic food, basic amenities, so that they are able to get through this very, very difficult time. And then the fourth is that for entities like ours is the long-term work of helping communities understand what is COVID appropriate behavior, and moving to really the big questions of how can we have better health infrastructure in this country. And finally, sorry, let me just add one more. If possible, build pressure on the German government to back the call of Government of India and Government of South Africa for doing away with the intellectual property, at least for the next couple of years on the COVID vaccine.
Yeah, but I think just like, since 3 or 4 days, it seems like help is on the way, isn't it? Because on the news they said something like because of USA is going to help, Germany is going to help. No?
Sure, yes. but absolutely, but help is on its way and it's welcome. But just imagine that we're looking at almost 400,000 cases every day, new cases. And then we are looking at the projections. All the doctors are saying that by mid-May, we'll add 1 million cases every day. And let me also say that in India, we have huge amount of underreporting of cases and deaths. So the magnitude is immense. The support that's coming is, as I said, is really welcome, but it's still very, very small in terms of the need that we have.
Yeah. Of course. Okay. And then my last question is very difficult to answer. I would like to ask you, what do you think? How long will it take when, until everything is, until the pandemic is over, until we are happy again, until, everyone's healthy? Have you got some?
I wish that any of us could answer that question. I wish that we go back to the days of all of us traveling around, meeting people. We are all missing so much. My daughter's not been able to go to school for 1 year. In Delhi, schools have just been online. So just imagine a 13-year-old girl sitting just at home only with her parents, not interacting with anyone for one full year. So it is a tragedy unfolding at multiple levels. But at the moment now, we're grappling with such a serious crisis of life and death if you ask me now, I'll say first let's get out of this crisis of people dying. And then let's hope that the vaccines work. Let's hope that the vaccines are made free. So hopefully in the next few months, 1 year, we are able to get vaccines for everyone. Otherwise, people are even saying that the worry is that there might be a mutation of the COVID virus and the vaccines might become ineffective. So that's also something which the pharma companies and the rich countries need to understand and appreciate, that we need to get the entire world vaccinated and soon.
Are you afraid of COVID-19, you personally?
I have just recovered from COVID-19.
Okay.
I was very, very fortunate that for me it was fairly mild. So I just had the mild symptoms of fever, cold, cough, but my oxygen levels were all right. So at least now I think that I'm for a few months protected. But as I said, I'm very fortunate that I got a very mild COVID. But when I look around, when I speak to my extended family, my loved ones, my friends, in every WhatsApp group that I have, and I'm part of many, many groups, every day people are reporting that this person is dying, this person needs oxygen, there's a memorial service happening for someone. So it is a tragedy of unimaginable proportions.
Okay. Oh my God, I'm wishing you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your time and greetings to India. Like I said, all the best for you.
Yes, thank you.